And our thoughts with everybody who has been affected. Manchester United players just going into a huddle. Leanne Sanderson, what are your thoughts, your final thoughts ahead of kickoff? What do United need to do from the start tonight to get a grip of this game?
I think start the game on the front foot as they did against Chelsea, I think against Leicester, and get the ball in those wide areas. I want to see Amad go 1v1. We know he's got that confidence to do that. Alejandro Garnacho on the left-hand side as well. I think Bruno Fernandes, he'll be loving the fact that Ruben Amorim's coming in, obviously Portuguese coach. You want coaches that come in that play your type of style. I think to start on the front foot, I'm looking forward to seeing the two in the midfield as well. Get on the ball and take it to PAOK, really.
Well, nothing exemplifies United's fall from grace as much as a campaign of Europa League football and the fact they've only won one of their last 11 continental games. Every United fan hopes the worst is now behind them, but can tonight provide the catalyst for this European campaign? United getting the ball forward quickly. And PAOK winning it back with Baba Rahman over on the left-hand side. Interesting that Dalot is playing back at left back with Mazraoui on the right. So that's the other way round from how they've been the last couple of games that they've started together. The ball in the midfield here with Johnny Evans, who's inside his own half of the centre circle. It's work from him into the feet of Casemiro. Back out to the right-hand side for Victor Lindelof. First touch for Mr. Mazraoui. Work forward towards Ahmad, who is fouled. Just given a little welcome to the game by Baba Rahman, the former Chelsea and Reading defender over on the far touchline. It's a free kick, which will be taken by Manchester United about 12-15 yards inside PAOK territory, inside the second minute here on Talksport.
Yeah, I don't think they like that Amad did an unbelievable skill just moments before, and I think they just want to let him know he's in the game. But like I said, what I like about Amad, he's confident when he picks up the ball. He likes to go 1v1, but they're not going to let him rock those types of moves against them, this PAOK team.
They are the Greek champions, won the league by a couple of points last season, second in the Greek league this time around, but have struggled in this competition, just the 1 point from their 3 games so far, and that thanks to scoring twice in the last 6 minutes against Victoria Pilsen to grab a 2-2 draw a fortnight ago on match day 3. Bruno Fernandes plays it through the midfield. Garnacho saw a challenge coming in on him from Zivkovic, tried to ride it, couldn't, but wins the free kick. And Dalot quickly sticks his hand on the ball, spots it down and takes it as quickly as he can.
See that there, Jim, from Onana. Bruno Fernandes pulls out to the left-hand side, and I want to see Onana have that confidence. That's what they brought him in for, to play the ball into those areas, and he was hesitant. They eventually got it to Bruno Fernandes on the left.
Now they found Garnacho. Now Garnacho towards the edge of the penalty area, just trying to slip it down the inside left channel for the run of Bruno Fernandes. It was overhit. Now Bruno struggling to hide his dismay. Ball out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Katarski, the former Ajax keeper who's making the 200th appearance of his career today. A great noise from the travelling supporter way to our right-hand side, almost exclusively dressed in black. Those PAOK supporters, about 4,000 of them here, making a trip west out from the city centre earlier. And it is they that are making the noise inside the opening 2.5 minutes here at Old Trafford. Live on Talksport with Leanne Sanderson, former Lioness, alongside me, Jim Proudfoot. Looked like a handball in there by Tisadali. The referee acknowledges that. It's Radu Petrescu from Romania who's taking charge tonight. United have possession and they're allowed to play on, and Victor Lindelof can bring it forward and he'll work it out to the United right-hand side for Ahmad.
There's a lot of space, Jim, down this left-hand side. You can see Alejandro Garnacho is occupying that space, and that's certainly an area that I think they can get a PAOK. I just think Manchester United need to move the ball a little bit quicker and get it out there.
Earlier today, Spurs beaten by 3-2, losing their 100% record in this competition. Will Lancashire scored his first goal for the club and then got sent off. Dom Solanke scored what proved to be a consolation. So a 3-2 defeat for Spurs. Rangers drawing 1-1 at Olympiacos. And in the Conference League, Shamrock Rovers beat the New Saints 2-1 with leading scorer Johnny Kenny, 17th of the season. They're getting them underway tonight. And Shamrock 2, the New Saints 1. We'll keep you up to date with everything going on in Chelsea's game. Hearts at home to Heidenheim. And Larne in action against St Gallen as Fernandes tries to play it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Just about stabbed away, and then Schwab can bring it under control. He works it forward towards Kamara. It's a poor touch from him. Mopped up easily by Mazraoui, who found himself playing at 10 in the last European game. And he's playing as an inverted fullback tonight. He will come in whilst Dalot stays back whilst he does so. And United often, when they haven't got the ball, playing as a back three. But PAOK have it back. They'll walk it back inside their own half to the centre half, Conjura, the Pole. And then he will find Colic. And the Gambian international brings it forward. Easy possession for PAOK. Not real intensity in the Manchester United press as the ball goes to the familiar figure of Johnny Otter, the former Wolves defender. They're playing at right back tonight and out towards Rahman on the left-hand side. Through the opening 5 minutes and still chanceless here at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I think they're going to a back three because Mazraoui is quite good at getting forward on that right-hand side, but then also could leave the space open where PAOK can exploit.
And now Kamara can make his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Nobody picking him up. He's got easy possession. They survived the lack of control. Zivkovic lays it back for him. A shot which is blocked by Casemiro. And Nana had dived to save the initial attempt and was wrong-footed. And Evans got back there inside his own 6-yard box to hammer it away before it trickled over the line.
It was almost right on cue, Jim, because that initial play came from Mazraoui being too high. And then they exposed that space and then was able to come inside. And good job Johnny Evans recovered in that situation.
First even glimmer of a half chance created by PAOK, who won their last 2 games after a poor run before that. They'd only won 1 in 7 leading up to that. They take a throw in the left wing position, and within 10 seconds the ball is back with their goalkeeper. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Manchester United 0, PAOK 0 with 6 minutes gone.
You're obviously on the attack, it's in a 4-2-3-1, but I think, you can see Manchester United are pressing quite high when the ball goes back to PAOK. Rasmus Højlund, Bruno Fernandes is getting quite high, so they're looking to obviously turn over the ball in those areas. I definitely think you can see a different kind of Manchester United that showed up since Erik ten Hag has gone. I mean, they're getting out of space. I saw Casemiro about 5 minutes ago, beginning of the game, ping a ball 70 yards out to the right-hand side to Ahmad, and that's not something we're used to seeing Manchester United do, mixing things up a little bit.
Now, Lan from Northern Ireland leads St Gallen, the Swiss side, by a goal to nil. An early own goal there. Lan 1, St Gallen 0. 0-0 here with 7 minutes gone on Talksport between Manchester United and PAOK. The United, a really good record in this competition in terms of being hard to beat. They've only lost 5 of their last 47 Europa League ties. But anything less than a win tonight will be certainly constituting disappointment as far as United are concerned. It's probably PAOK who had the lion's share of possession in the early stages. Not an awful lot in it. They'll work it down towards the Serbian winger Zivkovic here and flicks it round the corner behind Dalot, and Evans comes up and sweeps up before Tisadali could get there. Puts it out of play for a throw about 6 yards from the corner flag, which PAOK will take.
Yeah, we can see Dalot's obviously playing at left back. Mazraoui's on the right, but I think, sometimes I think Dalot's overcompensating going into the midfield as well, so he just needs to sort himself out because you don't want to leave him isolated 1v1. We know Dalot's decent, going up against players, but he doesn't want to overcompensate because there's a couple of times where he's taking the ball, he's moving into those midfield areas, so he just needs to stay a little bit more disciplined. I don't see PAOK causing Manchester United a lot of problems, but I think, if Manchester United can cause their own problems by giving away the ball in silly areas.
They have settled well, though, the Greek visitors. And after a couple of minutes of Manchester United possession early on, it's PAOK that have been able to stroke the ball about, albeit in extremely non-threatening areas so far. The ball back to the goalkeeper, Katarski, booming it forward long. Johnny Evans heads it away. Evans, who played in a Champions League semi-final for United back in both 2009 and 2011. I bet when he played in that one in 2009, he wouldn't have thought that 15 years on he would be back at the club and still playing at centre half for them at the age of 36. He's got a free kick now which will be taken right on the centre spot. Saw a little bit of movement to his right hand side, but just played it back towards Lindelof out to the United right. Ball swept in by Casemiro, goes over Højlund's head and cleared by Johnny, headed back in by Ugarte, but it wasn't a great one. Højlund, though, makes the most of a stumble by Zivkovic, and United have got possession back again with Dalot working it forward. Now Garnacho, left hand side of the penalty area, checks the ball back to Diogo Dalot again. Worked comfortably across the midfield towards Lindelof by Ugarte. Lindelof will take it into his stride again, just turns and tries to get himself away from Tyson over on the left. Now Dalot to Garnacho. United just moving the ball laterally, but not really making a lot of progress upfield. The ball back for the blue-booted Evans. That's a nice pass though. And towards the right flank, Mazraoui helping it on round the corner. Ahmad can pick it up. Ahmad faced up by Tyson. Pulls it back towards Lindelof. Lindelof back again for Evans. But United beginning to make a little bit of progress. But it's a tight, compact defensive formation that they're coming up against here, and there's no way through at the moment. Mazraoui for Bruno Fernandes. Now inside the penalty area. Ahmad with a clever little drop of the shoulder, trying to pull it back towards Mazraoui. And it's cleared. Headed back by United out towards the right-hand side. Mazraoui still in there, flicks it back. Højlund couldn't get there. And Zivkovic will clear. Better, though, from United.
So much better, and that's what I like. Amad Diallo, when he gets in that position, he does a double step over, puts the ball into an area. Unfortunate in the end, but I think as well, I think Casemiro learnt his lesson for that Liverpool game, Jim, when he kept giving away the ball and he got pulled at half-time, because I'm noticing with Casemiro, he's moving the ball a lot quicker in those areas, and I think, we know he's a winner, but I think the question mark is, has he still got the legs, has he still got the engine to do what he did at Real Madrid? Probably the answer is no, but he can still do a lot. He's got a lot of hunger, he's got a lot of fight in him, which I think can really help Manchester United, but he's moving the ball a lot quicker in recent weeks, and I think that's what he's going to have to do. It's the Premier League. Can't get away with that type of stuff, as he saw against Liverpool.
And 3 goals in his last 3 games as well for Casemiro, who has never scored in this competition. He's got a few important ones in the Champions League back in his Real Madrid days, including one in the 2017 final. Throw taken down the PAOK right-hand side, still 0-0 and chanceless, completely chanceless through the opening 11 minutes. Victor Lindelof is 15 yards inside his own half. Finds Evans. Dalot, the player that has just given the licence to push forward now and almost supplement Bruno Fernandes as Mazraoui stays at home. Mazraoui gets the ball. Moroccan working it in towards Ahmad. Chipped over the top from him. It's a poor defensive header. Seized upon by Dalot on the edge of the penalty area, but it's knocked away by Kenjora. And now they might be able to get Zivkovic in. Just coming over halfway. Checks, pulls the ball back. 3 red shirts around him. He's able to lay it back for Johnny. Now he'll find his goalkeeper. We're 12 minutes in and it's still 0-0, Leon.
Yeah, Kenjora got quite fortunate there, because I think Ahmad did a really good job on the right-hand side, pinging it out wide, trying to find Bruno Fernandes, and Garnacho just got under-hit a little bit. But they got quite fortunate in the end. PAOK, and Dalot was trying to get on the end of it.
Rahman playing the ball back to Kenjora on the edge of his own penalty area. 0-0 here. But the deadlock broken at Stamford Bridge. Ian Abrahams.
Chelsea 1-0. The goal on 12 minutes. Scored by Tosin. A corner from the far side, which he headed in. That spares the blushes of João Felix. George's ball in from the right-hand side. Felix almost on the goal line. Somehow cleared it. But Chelsea are in front now. Chelsea 1-0.
So Chelsea leading by a goal to 0, and Zivkovic having the best chance so far here at Old Trafford, cutting in onto his left foot, but he couldn't angle it towards the top left-hand corner, and he missed by some distance.
And as I said before, Jim, about Dalot overcompensating, thankfully that ball went wide, but you could see Dalot needs to also think, we know he likes to get forward, but he also needs to not, leave that space free, because Zivkovic came in behind there and nearly with his left foot bent in the top corner.
United will play out from the back. Now work it down towards Mazraoui. Fernandes in so much space in the midfield. If United can get it into him, they've actually played it further forward than that, out towards Ahmad. One clever pirouette. Now one good turn deserves another. He was just able to do another 360 and get United coming forward again. Ball flash inside the area, and coming in the far post, Garnacho with a flying header, sees it blocked by the near post, and he goes out of play for a corner.
Well played, Ahmad. So confident. Mazraoui does so well to get the ball out wide, and I was thinking in my head, Casemiro put it in one time, and he did, and Garnacho makes good contact. It was good defending in the end from PAOK, but I love that from Casemiro. Plays the ball nice and early. Garnacho probably thought the net was about to ripple.
14 gone, 0-0. First corner of the night to be taken on the Manchester United left. Bruno Fernandes is going to take it. Everybody back for PAOK. Right-footed ball in towards the near post, looking for a little near post flick header, which Wasn't quite forthcoming from Dallo, but it's blocked. And he goes out of play for another corner to Manchester United on the left-hand side, which again Bruno is going to take. Garnacho offers himself for the short one, but the referee's blown his whistle just because there's some pushing and shoving going on, bumping and barging inside the 6-yard box. And the referee is happy now. So another corner, their second, in towards the near post, and that's a flying, diving header away. And Zivkovic getting it clear and out for a throw, which will be taken down by the corner flag. Another goal at Stamford Bridge for Ian Abrahams.
Yeah, Chelsea 2-0 inside a minute. Noah gave the ball away. It was squared by João Felix for Mark Guiu in on goal to score on a perfect knee slide. Chelsea 2-0.
A couple of goals in quick succession, but you know when Noah are involved, they tend to go in 2 by 2. The ball swept inside the box, volleyed away and out for a throw, which will be taken on the Manchester United left. I've been willing them all day. Chelsea to score 2 in quick succession. One worth the wait. Here's Johnny Evans. He's played it back inside the centre circle for Andre Onana. With 15 minutes in, it's 0-0. The ball chipped forward, flicked on by Dallo. Down towards the left-hand side of the penalty area for Garnacho. Garnacho, the ball in too deep from him. And it goes out of play for a goal kick. 16 minutes. What do you take away from the first quarter of an hour, Leo?
Yeah, I think obviously down that left-hand side, Alejandro Garnacho's got the ball a couple of times down there. It was a good overlapping run there from Dallo to take the PAOK defender away. But I think Manchester United started the game vibrantly. I think they're possessing the ball really well. I think equally PAOK don't really look fazed by playing at Old Trafford. They look quite comfortable in possession and nothing really phases them. I think with this type of support they have behind the goal, I think that certainly helps. I think, Manchester United need to get results in this competition and need to start pushing on, because I think this place has no longer become a fortress. When you come here, you step foot in here. I still get those butterflies like I did when I was a kid. But I think teams now know they can come here and get a result.
2 home defeats for Manchester United this season. They're both in the league. One against Liverpool, one against Spurs. United in possession again. Ahmad has done well. He's gone to the byline, and a right foot was put in his direction by Baba Rahman, who's trying to block the cross. And the referee says that he's managed that. It's going to be a corner. Ahmad has stayed down. He's still down inside the penalty area. The challenge coming in from Baba Rahman, who took a real chance. VAR will have a look at it. Daniele Shifi. But it looks as though it is going to be a corner rather than a penalty to restart play. I can't see that being overturned. I think he's gone down pretty easily.
He has gone down easily, but he hasn't got any part of the ball. When we're seeing this replay back, I think this could be given as a penalty. Yes, it could be soft, but the contact is there. He hasn't got the ball.
And I think Powell will feel that it should be a goal kick rather than a corner, because they think he's gone down very easily. Certainly a corner appears to be the wrong decision, but it is still being looked at by Daniele Shifi, VAR. So Ahmad is back on his feet, but the referee hasn't been given the instruction as yet to restart play. Looks as though he will now. Puts his whistle to his mouth. So a relatively lengthy inspection, but the decision isn't overturned. Corner rather than a penalty. In comes the corner. It's worked short into the feet of Dallo. Dallo back to Fernandes again. Fernandes on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Dallo. Played across the edge of the box. Garnacho can take a touch. Gets it onto his left foot. And a rising drive just takes a touch off Colley. And flicks off his shoulder over the bar and out for another corner.
It's interesting. That's the third corner that Bruno Fernandes has taken. 2 from the left, 1 from the right. And they've all gone short. I actually thought Garnacho could have hit this first time, but then he takes a touch, chops it back, makes good connection. Now it's gone out for a corner because of the deflection.
Just the one Europa League goal for him so far, which came at Sociedad back in 2022 for Garnacho, the leading scorer for United this season. Another corner worked short, and then Mazraoui will pick it up, and he goes deep back towards halfway for Ugarte. Ugarte flicking it out to the United right. Has been another goal at Chelsea. We'll catch up in a moment. The ball goes in, and a header towards goal from Højlund, off balance, but he couldn't divert it either side of Katarski. Good chance, but it stays 0-0. A glut of goals at Stamford Bridge for Ian Abrahams.
Chelsea 3-0. Another corner on the far side. This time somebody else heading home, not Tosin, but Axel Disasi. It's Chelsea 3-0. Do you two want to guess what the final score might be?
Something nil. It's 0-0 here. It'll be knocked forward down the PAOK right. And it's out for a throw which will be taken. Actually, it's just flicked off Hoyland. And it goes out for a PAOK throw level the edge of their own penalty area. You're listening to Manchester United against PAOK in the Europa League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Really good chance, Leanne, for Rasmus Hoyland.
Really good chance. When I just saw the replay back, Jim, he actually doesn't make any contact with the ball. The PAOK defender actually hits off the shoulder, but it was a great... I said about Amad before the game, and he's having a brilliant opening 20 minutes. Exactly what these Manchester United fans would want to see on the front foot, taking players on.
As Fernandez has done well, and he's played it in towards Amad. Amad couldn't get a shot in, works it to his right-hand side for Mazraoui. Amad ends up in the penalty area on the deck again. He picks himself back up, and now there's a PAOK player that is down hurt. It's Ozdoev, the Russian in the heart of the midfield for PAOK. Just a few good-natured boos from the Stretford end towards him. He's okay, he's back on his feet, but he's won a free kick. We're 20 minutes in at 0-0.
How that is a free kick is beyond me. Mazraoui does absolutely nothing there. He sells it really well, but there's not even any contact from what I can see.
So Chelsea leading 3-0. Darabioyo, Guiu and Disasi with the goals. Spurs beaten 3-2 at Galatasaray earlier. Rangers drew 1-1. PAOK working the ball through the United penalty area, but Dalot is able to sweep up and get it away from Zivkovic. Played forward towards Bruno Fernandes. And then it's worked back by Babaram. He's given it away. And Manchester United can get it forward quickly and find Garnacho. And Johnny is backpedaling, and Garnacho's got him on toast, and then plays a really poor ball round the outside of the fullback, trying to get Dalot in, and he just completely misdirected it. And that's been a recurring theme, really, for Manchester United through the opening 20 minutes here and for much of the season, getting themselves into good positions, not making the most of the chances.
Yeah, that is what we like to call being sold down the river, because Alejandro Garnacho played the ball to Dalot. It was actually a decoy run, it looked like, but I think Garnacho thought Dalot was making the run because he wanted the ball. I think he was opening up the space so Garnacho could continue with the ball inside with his right foot. But these things happen.
Another goal at Stamford Bridge, Moose.
20 minutes gone, Chelsea 4, Noah 0. Again, Noah gave the ball away. This time it was João Felix in on goal. He didn't miss. Chelsea 4, Noah 0.
So João Felix scoring his 4th goal of the season. Chelsea 4, Noah 0. Still, Hearts against Heidenheim is 0-0. Larne leading St Gallen by a goal to 0. 0-0 here between Manchester United and PAOK. And in a moment, we'll find out what's been happening in the first half of our game that's live on TalkSport 2 for you. The big one of the upper reaches of the Championship tonight between West Brom and Burnley. We'll go there in the next break in play here as Dalot brings the ball down in the midfield. Ugarte losing out. And a chance for Tissadali to bring it forward. Ran straight at Casemiro, who was able to get in the way and block it. Then United work it quickly with Casemiro down towards Garnacho. Now Garnacho will turn it intelligently back for Dalot. The PAOK coach Razvan Lucescu not happy there that possession was turned over as easily as it was. And he's down on his haunches now and his black beanie hat on a relatively mild Mancunian night for the time of year. The ball played forward towards Mazraoui. United getting the bodies forward towards the edge of the penalty area here. Fernandes unmarked on the edge of the D. Ugarte will take it on, but Baba Rahman is there and he will be able to clear, and he puts it out of play. Vara touch from Ugarte for a throw that will be taken by PAOK in their left back position. So we'll go to the Hawthorns. West Brom against Burnley. How's it looking, Abigail?
Yeah, 25 minutes in, very little to tell you about in the way of goalmouth action. Certainly not been thrilling from a West Brom perspective in particular, but they did have the first chance of the half. Darnell Furlong with a deep delivery into the area. John Swift was there to meet it at the back post. On the volley, fired it way over the crossbar. Awful marking from Burnley's back line. At the other end of the pitch, a testing delivery intended for Fleming was very well dealt with by Alex Palmer, but very little to tell you about other than that. Still goalless, 25 minutes on the clock.
Zivkovic goes down on the edge of the penalty area. There's no foul on him. Manchester United get it away. And Bruno has got so much space in the midfield. We've seen that a number of times. Works it forward, continues his run. Amad plays it back to him, and then Baba will just be able to shepherd that out of play for a goal kick that will be taken away to the left-hand side by Katarski. 0-0 here at Old Trafford.
again, that was a carbon copy on the right-hand side, what just happened on the left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes was making the overlapping run so Amad Diallo can go inside. He tries to play him, and then it goes out for a goal kick. Exactly the same thing that happened on the left. I think the players just need to realise the runs are a decoy, come inside with the ball and make something happen. Be a bit more selfish in those areas.
So a long way to go tonight. Manchester United currently 20th in the Europa League table. That would be enough for the playoffs. I'm sure you're familiar now with how it works. Top 8 going through to the round of 16 as of right. The next 16 teams, so 9th down to 24th, finding themselves in a playoff and seeded. Depending on where you finish in the league table, you will play, if you finish 9th, against the team that finished either 23rd or 24th and so on. The bottom 12 eliminated. Manchester United currently 20th, but only above 25th on goal difference. PAOK, for their part, as things stand right now, 31st. So both of these clubs know that they've got a fair bit of work to do over the second half of the Europa League campaign. In terms of the other games going on at the moment in the Europa League, Ajax leading Maccabi Tel Aviv by a goal to nil. Pilsen 1, Real Sociedad nil. Everything else 0-0. But Dinamo Kiev down to 10 men in their game against Ferencvaros. So just the 2 goals so far in the 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Europa League tonight. And we've played 25 minutes here, and even chances have been at a premium, let alone goals. Johnny Evans kicking one away from relatively close to the line. Just the 1 shot on target so far, which came from United, who've had about 2/3 of the ball, but just 3 off-target attempts to show for it, really. 26 gone. Evans playing it back for Lindelof. Now down towards Johnny Evans again. So 0-0 here, 0-0 as well in our game that's live right now over on Talksport 2 between West Brom and Burnley. Onana can walk the ball, or almost tiptoe the ball towards the edge of the centre circle. He's just trying to invite the press, and Tissadali's looking at him. Might as well have shaken his head. It was so obvious that he wasn't going to come and engage. Eventually Onana got bored and just punts it forward long. Lovely little step over from Casemiro. Bruno trying to play it back to him. Casemiro goes to ground, just shoulder to shoulder. No complaints from Casemiro, because he's perpetrated challenges like that throughout his career. He would have been, in a way, disappointed if the referee had set the bar to give a penalty for that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a penalty at all. I think Bruno Fernandes does a really good job. Initially, I was waiting for PAOK to see where their confrontation line was going to be, because Onana looked like he was going to continue with the ball into the other half. So it was a good ball through in the end. He was hesitating, played the ball out wide to the left, and then they created an opportunity. But this is the thing. Ugarte and Casemiro, under Erik ten Hag, I don't think we saw either of those players. Ugarte hasn't got off to the best start in his Manchester United career, but we're seeing both those players making runs, like third-man runs into the box. It's not something we saw under Erik ten Hag. So I think that's something Ruud van Nistelrooy has definitely brought to this team in a short space of time.
That'll be very interesting to see whether Ruud is retained amongst the coaching staff under Ruben Amorim. I know many United fans hope that he is. And beyond his connection with the club as well, just for the ability that he has as a coach and his reputation, irrespective of the fact that he's a United legend. Kamara playing the ball forward here. Tissadali couldn't bring it down. He then leant into Johnny Evans and threw himself to the ground to try and win a free kick. The referee wasn't going to be fooled by that. Evans back on his feet, just limps away for a moment, but I think he'll be all right. United get it forward. Højlund can't get it to stick inside the centre circle. Zivkovic winning it back easily. He finds Kenjora, and PAOK can build from the back again.
To make the point you were saying to him about Ruud van Nistelrooy, if he's going to stay here, it all depends. Ruben Amorim's already said he's looking to bring the staff with him that he wants. Maybe he wants a clean slate. I also understand why he would want that as well, because I've always said I don't think Ruud van Nistelrooy has come here to be a number 2. I really don't. I think obviously he had the PSV Eindhoven job. Wouldn't he see this as a, not backwards to be at Manchester United as an assistant, but how long is he going to wait for? I think another opportunity will be out there for him.
Here's Zivkovic coming forward again for PAOK. Oh, it's a good strike, but Onana can take a couple of hasty steps to his right and make a comfortable save, just tumbling onto the ball, bringing it into his midriff. Quality goalkeeping from Andre Onana. Good, again, vocal support away to our right-hand side as St Gallen equalised in that game at Larne in the Conference League. Lot to react to tonight. This Manchester United performance a little bit flat. through the opening half hour or so. Spurs beaten. Best place to react on the Sports Bar tonight. Following us at 10 with PAOK and Fenwa, Torquay legend, alongside Jamie O'Hara. I think he played for a couple of clubs after he left us. I can't really remember. The ball is back for Lindelof. Goes back to Casemiro. Down towards Johnny Evans. We've played 29 minutes here at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the penalty area will be able to bring the ball in off the left flank. He's given it away though. Kamara reading the pass. And he can just skip away from Mazraoui. He's made a sideways but effective run here for PAOK. It just opens up for him. Ball played out towards Tyson. Tyson, the Brazilian international, controlling the ball. And just playing it back through the midfield for the captain Schwab. Back out towards Tyson again. But United win it back. Ahmad finding Højlund. Højlund just caught in two minds. He's lucky to get a second bite of the cherry as his initial ball hit Ozdorov. Now Fernandes for Garnacho across the edge of the 6-yard box. And Ahmad coming in at the far post couldn't quite get there quickly enough to be able to turn it over the line.
Good play from Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund gets a bit fortunate in the end, but plays a good ball out to Bruno Fernandes. I think Garnacho does everything right, puts it in that area. I think it's a really good defensive play from PAOK defenders. I really do. I think Ahmad was about to put it in there in the back post. Good defending.
But another United corner, their 5th of the night without reply. And the 4 have all been worked short and been quite disappointing so far, have come to nothing. What will they be able to do from this one? So they look to get their noses in front here. Plenty of movement inside that penalty area as it's swept in. Casemiro going up for it. He got the last touch. The referee turns away as Casemiro complains and appeals that it should be another corner. I think Casemiro is one of the very few players that saw it like that. Goal kick that will be taken by PAOK away to our left-hand side. 14 minutes to go to half-time. Still 0-0. So what do Manchester United need to do more of to try and create better quality opportunities here?
I mean, I think centrally, Ugarte is getting in those positions. We've seen Casemiro play the ball out wide a couple of times. I think the space is definitely down this left-hand side with Alejandro Garnacho. I think the set pieces, the corners have been really poor for Manchester United. I think we saw 2 for this left-hand side. Bruno Fernandes played. The first one looked like it was to Dalot on the front. The second one looked like, he just miskicked it, and then all of the others are going short. Apart from that, was a poor ball into the box. That's bread and butter for me. When professional footballers can't put a ball in the box, I never understand it at all.
Tissaduri couldn't really hold it up at the top of the pitch for PAOK. Retained possession. They've had to go back. Johnny down to this near side. It was a poor pass from him to Zivkovic, and he goes almost to the legs of Ruud van Nistelrooy. It is out of play for a throw that will be taken by United. You're listening to Manchester United against PAOK in the Europa League. It's live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. 32 minutes played. Just a one shot on target for each team so far. United looking long this time, mixing it up. Ugarte trying to get Garnacho in. Johnny will be able to bring it away. Finds Zivkovic. Zivkovic taking it on down the touchline. Little nutmeg of Casemiro to get it back for Johnny. Schwab's got it now. Schwab for Kamara. Now out from him to Baba Rahman over on the left-hand side. Now down towards Kamara, who made his name with Olympiacos, but playing his club football now for their rivals PAOK. Down towards Johnny. Johnny back for Kamara again. Now PAOK just having a little bit of a breather in possession at the moment. Kenjora, Colley. Rahman can bring it forward. He's midway inside the Manchester United half. The former Chelsea man just trying to side foot it forward, but the retreating Ugarte read it, and he can turn it back. United get it forward quickly. Casemiro out for Ahmad. Ahmad turning away from Ozdorov in the midfield. Now Bruno Fernandes goes out towards the right-hand side. Ahmad continuing a lovely run forward. Back once more for Bruno on the edge of the penalty area. Just checks away. PAOK defending so regimented. Very quick to get bodies back behind the ball. Garnacho's got it now. Garnacho back for Dalot. Dalot 10 yards outside the penalty area. Clipping it forward. It's headed away and then turned by Zivkovic forward towards halfway. Evans comes across to meet that, but he's headed it straight out. And it's a throw that'll be taken on the PAOK right-hand side.
That's really poor from Dalot there. I think, you asked me that question, what do Manchester United need to do? I think they need to move the ball quicker. It's difficult because PAOK are getting every player behind the ball if Manchester United are central in a 4-5-1, you know. So I think they need to move the ball quicker, because top teams find a way, Jim, to get through, to break the lines, to be able to play the ball through. I still think Rasmus Højlund has to offer a little bit more. I like the fact that he occupies, you know, the 18-yard box, stays centrally. That's where you want your number 9. But I just think Bruno Fernandes has so much responsibility underneath, where he's always moving, always looking for the ball. But I think Rasmus Højlund just needs to do a little bit more.
So 0-0. And the best way to react to everything that's gone on in this week, it's been an extraordinary week of European action. You've heard the pick of it here on the Talksport network, with Manchester City shock defeat to Sporting, and Liverpool blowing Bayer Leverkusen away in the second half. Tottenham's defeat tonight, Arsenal's defeat yesterday, Villa a little bit listless in Belgium, and we don't know what's going to happen with United here, but it's all going to be mopped up for you. The Trans-Euro Express back this Sunday with Andy Brassett alongside Danny Kelly from 9 o'clock. And they'll be looking back over a huge week in the Champions League and the Europa League, including a full rundown of tonight's results as well, providing all the reaction from across the continent. You won't want to miss it. I know a lot of people within the game listen to that. Perfect way to end the sporting weekend. It's the Trans-Euro Express this Sunday from 9 o'clock with the legendary Danny Kelly alongside Andy Brassell here on Talksport. Kamara in possession. It's played it back. Osdorf. Back he goes for Omar Colley, one of 4 changes that PAOK have made tonight as they look for their first win in this competition. Remember, just the 1 point from their opening 3 games so far, having been comfortably beaten in Turkey by Galatasaray and then losing at home to the club that used to be Steaua Bucharest. Kenjora getting forward over halfway. Nice turn by Kamara, but a poor ball after it as he tried to play in Tisduli. And it just dribbles innocuously through for Andre Onana. And there have been large swathes of this game where not a lot has happened, truth be told.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Jim. I think, you know, Kamara there does a really good half turn, but they just don't look like they're going to cause Manchester United a lot of problems. Fair play to PAOK, though, because they've come in, they're difficult to break down, but Manchester United have to find a way. I think, you know, Ahmad had a really bright opening 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and they stopped playing in the ball. I think he's been Manchester United's best player, along with Garnacho down the left-hand side. I just think when the ball's being switched, we saw Casemiro and Ugarte trying to do that. The other fullback has to get higher.
Here's Bruno Fernandes coming forward. Ahmad to his right-hand side. Højlund is in the middle. He's checked it back instead and presented it straight to Colley, who could easily knock it away. Tyson helps it further clear. And it goes out for a throw, which will be taken over on the Manchester United right. And they're getting themselves into half-decent positions relatively frequently, but the quality of the final ball has been poor. Then United win it back, but they'll do so by foul means not fair. And it's a free kick 20 yards outside the box for PAOK. 0-0, 8 minutes to go to half-time.
I'd like to see Ahmad be a little bit more selfish. I think he's got into good moments down that right-hand side. One of them where he thought he should have had a penalty. I don't quite think so. I think it's minimal contact. I agree with you, Jim, but I think, you know, Ahmad just needs to make better decisions sometimes in those areas. I'd like to see him, you know, I think it's too predictable for the PAOK defenders, because when he's going down the right-hand side, he's then playing it back, you know, trying for the pullback. I'd like to see him take another touch, you know, centrally get the shot off.
Those are the thoughts of Leanne Sanderson, the former Lioness, with us here on the Talksport commentary team at Old Trafford tonight. The ball has drifted out of play again for another throw that will be taken over on the PAOK left. Manchester United next in action here at the weekend against Leicester before the international break, and then they come back off the break by going to Portman Road. The first game under Ruben Amorim, then Bodo Glimt, which will be live here on Talksport, is the first European game of the Amorim era. As Kamara chested down on the edge of the penalty area, a little snapshot towards goal, and it was a relatively comfortable save from Onana. He needed to get a hand to it, react quickly just to help it on its way over the bar. Smart stop, and it's out for the first PAOK corner of the night, Liam.
I'll tell you what, Kamara caught this really well on the half volley, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Manchester United can't go to sleep. You know, it's been a pretty flat game from them at times. I think Onana pulls off a relatively good save in the end, because Kamara catches this really well. The technique he used to be able to keep it down. Most of these go sailing over the bar, but I think it was a decent strike in the end.
So it's the left-footed right winger Zivkovic to take the corner. Swung towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Kamara trying his luck after a little bit of pinball around the edge of the 6. Cleared though by Fernandes, who gets it back into enemy territory, and that will allow United the opportunity to push out pretty quickly. That was probably a better corner than all 5 of United's.
Yeah, it was causing problems. You can see, I'm not quite sure why Zivkovic goes with his head there, because it was quite low. I think if he stays on his feet, maybe he could sweep it into the back of the net, or at least get it on target. But like I said, Manchester United, they need to be better. I think they're causing a lot of problems at times, but this is PAOK. Like, they should be beating teams like this. The same as Fenerbahce away might seem like a decent result in this competition because it's a pretty hostile place to go to, but like, you know, FC Twente, Porto, like, those are results you'd expect Manchester United to win pretty convincingly, and I think that's been the story, and that's exactly why I'm not getting carried away, Jim. Until Ruben gets here, and until, you know, they make changes to player personnel, I'm not getting carried away. Yes, the performances have been better under Ruben van Nistelrooy, but there still needs to be a massive overhaul of a lot of these players, because if they want to get back to the levels that they used to be at and be up there with Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool, they're still so far off it, player personnel. You're going to get a new bounce, Jim, with a coach coming in. I know Van Nistelrooy was there before, but you will get that. They had that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I don't want him to make the same mistakes again. Ruben coming in, I believe in what he's trying to do, and I like his style, but he has to get the players that can fit that.
0-0 here at Old Trafford, but 5 goals in the first half for Chelsea in Abraham.
Chelsea 5-0. The damning indictment is Chelsea haven't had to work particularly hard to get 5-0 up. Mikhail Mudryk has shot on his right foot from the edge of the D, the 5th goal. We're not even at half-time. Chelsea 5-0.
A second goal of the season for Mudryk as the ball goes out to the Manchester United right. Ahmad playing it back. Bruno Fernandes, clever little step over from him. Casemiro flighted it in, looking for Højlund, but it was clear before it got to him by Colley. Well played by the Gambian centre-half, got his angles right there. Dalot works it back for Johnny Evans inside his own half, and still a little bit pedestrian from Manchester United.
I think as well with Rasmus Højlund, you know, Manchester United don't characteristically create a lot of opportunities in those areas. He had that one opportunity, missed it with the head. Casemiro put a really good ball in. Diallo did as well, but I think Rasmus Højlund, he's not going to guarantee you goals for me like double digits each season. I think he's the type of player that you can bring him off the bench at times, but I still think, you know, Manchester United is still lacking in those areas, and it's no coincidence Manchester United didn't score goals previously.
Now Højlund coming into tonight, 5 starts, 5 sub-appearances this season, just a couple of goals to his name. He scored against Porto, he scored here against Brentford as well. And he's got 18 and 53 for United, so he's a 1 in 3 man. And I think for £72 million, you expect a better return from that, even for a player who is still only 21. He was, 19 when he came to the club. They paid a stack of money, a big premium on the potential that he had, but maybe hasn't lived up to it. Another goal at Stamford Bridge, Ian Abrahams.
40 gone, Chelsea 6, Noah nil. Get the record books out, will you? João Felix had a shot wickedly deflected in. He'll count it as his second, though. 5 to the break, Chelsea 6, Noah nil.
6-0. Flood of goals against Noah. Bruno Fernandes flighted the ball inside the penalty area, just past Casemiro, and it's cleared down the right-hand side. Zivkovic, he's done well actually, off balance to divert the ball away from Dalot, back towards Johnny, but Johnny Evans wins it back for Manchester United. And then Lindelof is disdainfully looking at the assistant referee after he was pulled to the ground. The play restarts with a throw. It should be a free kick surely. And the referee said, no, I'm sorry, it is a free kick. So Dalot spots it down, takes it, ball's moving, but the referee sensibly just allows play to go on. Lindelof, 2 minutes to go to half time. There'll be, a minute at most, I would imagine, to be added on here. We had the VAR check early in the piece, and Ahmad was down injured for a bit as a result of that. But I don't think that we'll get any further time added on. Johnny playing it back for Kenjora. PAOK would be much of a happier with the scoreline at the moment. They'll be quietly confident that they've built a good, solid defensive platform here.
Yeah, definitely. I think they haven't had many opportunities. Zivkovic down this right-hand side had one opportunity, cut inside, caught it really well, had a lot of power, and it was always quite comfortable for Onana. But I still think, the longer the game goes on, Manchester United will become frustrated. I don't think it's been a bad performance for Manchester United, but not ruthless enough.
Tissaduli's making his way forward. Zivkovic has got the ball at his feet. Left-footed ball worked across the edge of the penalty area. And Kamara's going to get there. It was all too easy for him to make that run and pick up possession. Coming forward outside him is Babarahman. Can he get the ball inside the penalty area? He can, but Garnacho's back to clear. Few oohs and ahs from the fans away to our right-hand side. Those PAOK supporters encouraged by what they're seeing at the moment as we go into the final minute of the first half here on Talksport. 0-0 between Manchester United and PAOK. There's going to be at least 1 minute added on because the fourth official is out with a numbers ball in his hand in front of us. Genjora finding Johnny. Zivkovic back to the former Wolves man who's still able to make progress towards the edge of the penalty area, and then Garnacho toe poked it away from him but almost through for Tissoudali. Thankfully from a United point of view it didn't get there, but then the ball comes down towards Fernandes and Schwab, the one-time Austrian international, gets it away from him, the PAOK captain. And it's out for a throw that will be taken on the Manchester United left. 0-0. Dalot from that throw. Sure enough, just the 1 extra minute to be added. Back for Johnny Evans. Left-footed. Clipped out to the United right-hand side here for Ahmad. Masraoui making a run ahead of him towards the corner of the penalty area. But Ahmad controls it. Plays it back towards the edge of the centre circle. Victor Lindelof now through the midfield for Dalot. Dalot to Garnacho. Garnacho just coming in off the left flank. Casemiro tried to play it back to him but didn't get the angle right on the pass. He's won a throw. Zivkovic just semi-naughtily taps the ball away to stop the throw being taken quickly, but ball boy very quickly throws another ball at Casemiro, so the throw can still come in with haste. Dalot goes back for Johnny Evans. Evans will take the ball inside the centre circle. Chelsea leading 6-0 coming up to half-time, but still 0-0 here on the night when Rangers drew and Spurs lost away from home in Europe in the early kickoffs. Ahmad to Bruno Fernandes. T-Sport again, headed away. Only as far as Bruno on the edge of the box. Good turn from him. Out towards the right side, Masraoui. Bruno checks. Can he pull it back? And he just played it back through the legs of Ahmad. And that's the last action of the first half. And that sums it up, really, that last exchange. Manchester United getting themselves into a great position again. Right-hand side of the box, brilliant play by Bruno, but the quality of the final ball has been really poor on a consistent basis.
It has. Bruno Fernandes did a really good job there, freezing the defender, cut it inside. Ahmad's had a couple of opportunities down that right-hand side as well, where they just hesitate, and the final ball hasn't been the best. I don't think it's been a terrible performance in Manchester United, but I think, they need to keep continuing where they're getting a lot of joy with Ahmad. Keep giving him the ball, keep giving Garnacho the ball, but it's the final pass that I think is letting them down right now.
Half-time here at Old Trafford then, 0-0.
Manchester United just spluttering, trying to get out of second gear this evening, and they just can't at the moment for some reason materialise that chance, that opportunity as they go into the final third to make something count, because they have had good territory, they have had good possession, they have worked it well into that area of the pitch, but the final ball has been lacking, as you said.
It has, and I think obviously PAOK have come here, they're in a 4-5-1 defensively, and they're getting everyone behind the ball. Manchester United started the game really well. It looked like the game was going to, they were going to score early, and then it kind of got a bit flat. G made a good point. He said it's going to be 1 minute added on, and I think that typifies the game, really. I mean, it was pretty uneventful, apart from a couple of times, but I think there's been a couple of times where Manchester United have done this overlapping runs, and it's like they're not on the same page. The ball's gone out of play. There's times on corners where set pieces are massive in football, and all the corners I think have been really poor from Bruno Fernandes. I love Bruno Fernandes, but I think the balls have been poor into the box, and they've not really been. And Casemiro is playing on 1 or 2 touches. I don't know if you notice, every time he's getting the ball, he's hooking it round the corner. He is not dilly-dallying on the ball like he did against Liverpool, because I don't think he'll be doing that again.
Diallo had a shout. He's been playing fantastically well. He almost created a great opportunity for Rasmus Højlund to score a goal. Højlund couldn't get his head on the ball when he really should have. But Diallo has been the bright spark for Manchester United, I think, this evening. And he had a big shout for a penalty after 17 minutes. It looked like a trip by the former Chelsea fullback Babarahman. What did you think of it?
I mean, it would have been soft. I agree with Jim, but there was definitely contact, and it's right what Jim said. If he wasn't going to be given, it should have been a goal kick, probably. But I think Ahmad's been Manchester United's best player. What I like about him is he's confident. When he picks up the ball, he has that spark and he has that kind of speed of play that I think Manchester United haven't had wingers like that in a long time. You know, you look at Anthony, you look at those types of players, they constantly cut in, you know, they call him the one-trick pony, but that's all he has in his locker. You know, and I think what I like about Ahmad is that he's confident when he picks up the ball. He goes 1v1, and I think he's been Manchester United's best player, but I still think Manchester United need to up it a little bit more. I think Rashford will come into this game and probably make a difference.
Well, I was going to say, it's been quite a contrast with how Ahmad's played to how Alejandro Garnacho has played on the other side. You know, it's all the tricks, it's all the flair from Diallo on one side. On the other, Garnacho can't make his simple passes. There were a couple of those overlaps you mentioned when he really should have got the ball to the player going outside him, and he's passed it straight off the pitch. Those were key moments.
They were, and I think there was a couple of opportunities. You know, Bruno Fernandes doesn't need a second invitation to have a go. There was one time, to be fair to Garnacho, the ball got caught under his foot, but you could see Bruno wanted it in behind. So right now it doesn't look like it's Garnacho's night. You know, it's one of those things, it happens as a player, but I think he still has a lot in him. But I want to see him doing what Ahmad's doing, because I think if Manchester United had wide players who could do that, that's why certain teams are so successful. That's why Arsenal is successful, City, because they have top wide players that can provide a service. If they're not providing a service, they're getting a shot off, or they're getting the fullbacks to be on their back foot. That's what I like about Ahmad.
It hasn't felt like a Manchester United European night where the opposition come here feeling like they could get embarrassed, feeling as if Manchester United are going to go for the jugular from the off. It hasn't felt like that level of intensity and confidence. If anything, as the first half has wore on, Manchester United have gone inside their shell just a little bit as the opportunities they've had haven't materialised into something more. They're just losing a shade of confidence, which is maybe understandable given where the team is right now. Or do you feel like actually we need to sit here and give PAOK Salonika some credit in terms of how they have played? How happy do you think their manager Razvan Lucescu will feel about the performance?
I think he'll be delighted, to be fair, coming to Old Trafford, and Manchester United haven't really caused a lot of problems apart from out wide, but I think it typifies Manchester United. You look at what Chelsea are doing right now, annihilating, you know, in the first half, and Manchester United don't seem to put teams to bed like that, and I think that's why I wasn't getting carried away, because obviously Ruben van Nistelrooy's first game against Leicester put 5 past them. Fantastic. Erik ten Hag and Manchester United team was never able to do that. But I think in these types of games and moments, we expect Manchester United to be beating these types of teams. We expect them to be beating Twente. We expect them to be beating, you know, Fenerbahce. It's the reality. But I think this is a testimony of where Manchester United are at. And like I said, that's why I'm not getting carried away. Okay. Because it's still the same players, Hugh, isn't it? You know, we sit on our show every Thursday, and I've not been with you for a little while, and we talk about, you know, Manchester United, do they have good enough players? And the answer is no.
Okay, well, listen, I still think the Greek side deserve credit for how they've set up here this evening. They've been very patient with the ball. They haven't let Manchester United and the atmosphere of Old Trafford get into their heads at all. Their fans have been fantastic, and I think at the moment they'll be well worth a point to go home. We haven't seen much from either side, but I guess that means it's level and even fair on the scoreline, goalless at half-time. Elsewhere, there has been much more goalmouth action. Let's head to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea very much enjoying their time in the Europa Conference League, hosting the Armenians, FC Noah, and watched by Ian Abrahams.
Chelsea 6, Noah 0 at the break. This one does prove there are easy games in football. The saddest indictment of everything here is that Chelsea haven't been anywhere near top gear and have still put Noah to the sword. Opening goal took 12 minutes, a corner headed in by Tosin, but within a minute it was 2. Gihu slipped through and put it past the goalkeeper. 6 minutes later, Disasi headed in his first and Chelsea's third, and when João Felix made it 4 on 21 minutes, you genuinely wondered how many it would be. Only 6 at the break, thanks to 2 in 2 minutes just before half time. Mudryk with his right foot curling in from the edge of the D before Felix with a wickedly deflected shot on 41 minutes. Chelsea, as I say, have got this game long since won and dusted. Just a question of how many. Last time they scored 7 in Europe was in 1997 against Tromsø when they won 7-1. Last time they got 8 or more was when they beat a Luxembourg team here, Jeunesse, 13-0 in 1971. I was 2 at the time. I wonder if tonight I'll see a bit of history. At the moment, Chelsea have a way to go yet. Chelsea 6, Noah 0.
Just 2. Not sure about that. Anyway, elsewhere tonight, Hearts taking on the German side, Heidenheim. 2 wins in their opening 3 games for Hearts so far. They do sit 11th in the Scottish Premiership. Haven't had everything their own way this evening. I'll bring you that scoreline in a second. Larne taking on St Gallen as well tonight. 1-1 at half-time. Goalless between Hearts and Heidenheim. A win would take Larne outside of the playoff spots just on goal difference alone. So they are looking for an important 3 points. They had the lead, and Gallen, though, have brought themselves back into it. Earlier, an injury hit Spurs, lost their perfect Europa League record. A 3-2 defeat at Galatasaray for them. Youngster Will Lancashire scored, but also got sent off in the game, so a bittersweet day for him. Rangers picked up a valuable point. They came from behind to get a draw at Olympiacos. Cyril Dessers with the Rangers goal. 7 points from their 4 games thus far. Looking for a playoff spot, looking good for a playoff spot if they can keep things up at the moment. Shamrock Rovers denied the League of Ireland on the final day, but they have now won back-to-back Conference League games. The New Saints of Wales beat them, they beat them a little bit earlier on at the Tallaght Stadium. 3 points from 3 games for the Welsh side, though. And live on Talksport 2 tonight, there is championship action with West Brom hosting Burnley at the Hawthorns. Let's get the half-time whistle from Talksport's Abigail Davis.
Yes, West Brom 0, Burnley 0. The Baggies have scored just 2 goals across their 6 home games this season, and Burnley just 8 in their last 11 league matches. So unsurprising, really, that the deadlock hasn't been broken here. Not the most thrilling half of football, but the visitors really should have found themselves a goal to the good when Sarmiento pounced on a slack pass at the back from West Brom and was through 1v1 with Palmer, who came out and blocked his low effort. For the home side, though, fairly uninspiring, but did have a couple of half chances when Swift volleyed over at the back post, and Styles' swirling effort from range was just over. Then a goalmouth scramble from a corner really summed up West Brom in front of goal of late, just could not get a shot away. Overall, well, I've seen more lively games of rock, paper, scissors. It's West Brom 0, Burnley 0.
So another game tonight, live on Talksport, that is yet to ignite. Let's hope for much more in the second half. Both West Brom against Burnley and Manchester United against PAOK here on Talksport are goalless at the break. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Well, Manchester United to take the lead and to win this game is 1-2 on at the moment. The draw is 5-2, and PAOK to win it, it's goalless, remember, is 8-1. Those are latest odds with Ladbrokes. It's 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus. GambleAware.org.
You're listening to the Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs. And at the break here at Old Trafford, not yet much to talk about in front of either goalmouth. We wonder if there will be changes from Ruud van Nistelrooy as he looks for Manchester United's first Europa League win of the campaign. At the break, it is Manchester United 0, PAOK 0.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The big Wix event is now on. They've got everything you need to turn your ideas into a reality. From tiles to flooring, doors, kitchens, bathrooms and more, they have everything you need to start your next home improvement project. So whether you want to give your home a little touch-up or a full-scale makeover, shop the big Wix event. In-store and online now. Click to find out more.
Tom bought an LG OLED TV from Currys. It has self-lit tech that gives perfect contrast, colour accuracy and detail. Ooh. Since, he's binged a new series, rewatched his favourite movies, watched his team play, and now he's typing in his Currys receipt number to claim his guaranteed cash reward between £50 and £100,000 when you buy any LG OLED TV. Everyone's a winner. Currys, beyond expectations. In 2nd of December, 100k prize available. Claim online with receipt after purchase. Terms apply.
Trying to save for that next family holiday? You could get focused on your savings goals with Chase. With multiple saver accounts, it's easy to track progress towards each of your goals. And Chase's easy-to-use app puts your spending and saving at your fingertips. Join millions of customers in the UK and see what your money can do. Search Chase Bank. 18 plus UK residents. Chase current account required.
Pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
Overhead kick, brilliant goal!
The Europa League live on Talksport.
So much has happened in the fortnight since Fenerbahce dismissal, acquisition and interim. And whilst Ruben Amorim will be in place by the time Bodo Glimt come here later this month, tonight United are the rude boys. Ball flash inside the area, and coming in the far post, Garnacho with a flying header sees it blocked by the near post, and it goes out of play for a corner. Now Fernandez for Garnacho across the edge of the 6-yard box, and Ahmad coming in at the far post couldn't quite get there quickly enough to be able to turn it over the line. And that sums it up really, that last exchange. Manchester United getting themselves into a great position again, but the quality of the final ball has been really poor on a consistent basis. Half time here at Old Trafford then, 0-0.
Manchester United heading towards a fourth draw in 4 Europa League games as it stands. No real chances of note in the first half. I've got to say, just across from us to my left-hand side, Dan Ashworth, the Director of Football, the Technical Director, Jason Wilcox, the CEO, Omar Barada, none of whom seem to be particularly enjoying themselves on the basis of what they've seen first half. At least the good news for them is they do have a new manager incoming in the shape of Ruben Amorim, and Ruud van Nistelrooy is obviously just in interim charge, but it's not a very happy camp here at Old Trafford on the basis of what we've seen so far. Manchester United will need to find another couple of gears in this second half if they're to beat PAOK Salonika here and get their first Europa League win of the campaign so far. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football, and of course part of what has already been a massive week of live football across the Talksport network. It continues tomorrow night exclusively on Talksport 2 in the Championship. We'll bring you Watford against Oxford. Saturday lunchtime on Talksport 2, it's Middlesbrough against Luton. On TalkSport, we'll have Game Day Live with Adrian Durham from 1 p.m. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League, EFL, West Ham versus Everton, Wolves, Southampton and Crystal Palace against Fulham. And that West Ham-Everton game live for you at 3 o'clock on Saturday on TalkSport 2. That is not available anywhere on UK TV. And a bit of a bonus, it's a big game as well. Saturday, 8 p.m, exclusively live on TalkSport. Liverpool host Aston Villa. Reshmin Chowdhury alongside Sam Matterface and former England captain Stuart Pearce for that one. The players back out, the coach is about to sit down in the dugout, and the fans in their seats for the second half of Manchester United PAOK in the company of former Lioness Leanne Sanderson and Jim Proudfoot.
And we're back underway with PAOK kicking from right to left, attacking the Stretford end in this second half in their black and white striped shirts and conceding a free kick pretty much straight away for a push on Victor Lindelof. The two sides like this: Onana in goal, Mazraoui, Lindelof, Evans and Dalot, Casemiro and Ugarte, Ahmad Fernandez and Garnacho, and Højlund. On the bench for United, De Ligt, Martinez, Mount, Rashford, Zirkzee, Eriksson, Anthony, Wheatley and Mass and Fitzgerald, with a couple of keepers, Heaton and Altai. PAOK, Katarski in goal, Johnny, Kanjora, Colley and Rachman, Schwab and Ozdorf, Zivkovic, Kamara, Tyson and Tisadali. Timoe Bakayoko and Shola Shuratiri amongst the substitutes of note for PAOK as Bruno Fernandes picks up possession. Still inside the opening minute of the second half here on TalkSport at 0-0, with Ahmad bringing it forward and just rolling it inside the penalty area. It was a great pass if anybody had made a run, which they didn't, and it just goes harmlessly through to the goalkeeper Katarski.
It's quite strange really, because we saw moments like that in the first half where I just think, is it a great ball? Because Ahmad just played it to no one that's there. I mean, I understand playing the front foot and trying to play the area, but him and Bruno Fernandes, I just don't seem to be on the same page at times.
Lindelof and Onana weren't quite on the same page, but no harm done. Lindelof sent a brisk ball back towards his own goal, and not to where Onana was, but he had time just to go and recover and make sure it didn't go in. Fernandes does well, wins a something or nothing ball in midfield. Mazraoui then chips one over the top. This is better. Garnacho coming forward. He's got Ahmad inside the penalty. He's got Højlund there as well. The pullback came towards Bruno from Dalot, and it's cleared and put out of play for a corner, the first of the second half to United.
Good break from Manchester United. Mazraoui plays a really good ball out to the left-hand side to Garnacho, and that overlap that I was talking about before, Jim, it actually worked that time. Played a little touch out to Dalot. Good defending. from PAOK in the end.
Corner, United 6, taken short like most of the previous 5. Back out for Bruno Fernandes again. He'll find Mazraoui. PAOK come out and put the pressure on. Stop him getting a shot in, but he can find Casemiro. Just chipped over the top by Ugarte towards the far post. Johnny can turn and head it away. But he can only pick up Dalot. Now Garnacho's ball in. That's taken a little. Nick Lindelof leaving it. Casemiro with a shot. Might have hit an arm. It was Colley, who's the defender that got the block in. His arm down by his side. No real appeals. United win the next phase of play. Garnacho getting it in. Another deflection and another corner.
Really positive start to this second half, Jim. It's been a really good start. Garnacho getting the ball down the left-hand side. But I hope Manchester United can continue this, because this is how they started the game, and it kind of just wavered off a little bit.
So still 0-0 here. Hearts 0-0. Larn 1-1. Chelsea 6 up. And live over on Talksport 2, West Brom against Burnley's 0-0. In comes the corner from Bruno Fernandes. Ahmad on the edge of the penalty area. It was easily blocked. It was well worked. The idea was right, but the pass to Ahmad just a little bit too slow. Back end from Ugarte. Fired out towards the far side. Fernandes shaped to try the spectacular volley for a moment, but he realised it was going to be headed away from him by Zivkovic. And Fernandes races over and takes the throw. But United on the front foot from the start of the second half, Leanne Sanderson, asking a few more impressive questions now. Here's Ahmad. Left-footed shot from him, that's deflected and will be stopped from going out of play for a corner by Katarski.
They're certainly trying new things on set pieces from corners, but I think they've been quite underwhelming, Jim. You mentioned it there. You know, for Bruno Fernandes to play that ball with the instep, that has to be pinged out to Ahmad. He was in a good position, but then by the time it got to him, the PAOK defenders were able to get there and recover the ball. But it is a positive start from Manchester United. They need to continue this, and they need to find a way to break through the lines.
Well, this game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. It's 0-0. Johnny Evans turning away under pressure from Kamara on the edge of his own penalty area. And then Ugarte can get it out towards the left-hand side. And again, the PAOK coach Lucescu a little bit frustrated at the ease at which United played out there. Ball chipped over the top of the back line. And chasing after it is Garnacho. He's going to get there. Johnny is facing him up. He stopped him getting across him. But Garnacho can still work it back. The Argentinian finding Dalot, then getting a return ball. Thought about crossing it. Lays it back for Bruno. Bruno! Ahmad with a header across the base of goal and in. And finally Manchester United have the breakthrough. 5 minutes into the second half, it's a header from Ahmad. Slightly implausibly, but a great cross. And he just peeled away to the back post and looped a header back past the goalkeeper from whence it came. And he's taken a little kiss off the inside of the post and in. And finally, relief around Old Trafford as Manchester United lead 1-0.
Great ball from Bruno Fernandes. Ahmad does a really good job. Loops it over the PAOK goalkeeper. I think the defender switched off for a moment there. They're appealing for something. I'm not quite sure, these PAOK defenders, but it was a really good header from Ahmad, and I think he deserves that. He's looked bright this entire game. I said he's been Manchester United's best player, and he deserves that for sure. Great ball in from Bruno Fernandes. Good start to this second half for Manchester United.
Well, judging by the reaction of Ken Jora, the centre-half for PAOK, he thinks this isn't going to count because he hasn't put the ball back towards the centre circle. He's expecting play's going to restart with a free kick. So they're still looking at it, but it is going to count. Ahmad playing it in. I don't know whether they thought that Højlund, when he was attacking it, maybe he was in an offside position or the ball had brushed his hand on the way through. Don't think he got a touch. It does count. And Ahmad, whose only previous European goal came against Milan in this competition back in 2021, has given Manchester United the platform for their first European win in more than a year.
Yeah, I don't know what PAOK was seeing there because Ahmad was definitely onside. Rasmus Højlund was onside, so I don't know what they were appealing for. I think it was more hope than anything. But hopefully Manchester United now can push on because there's a fantastic ball in for Bruno Fernandes, and fair play to Ahmad because I think, like I said, Manchester United's best player, looking bright every time he's picking up the ball and confident.
But Manchester United fans, particularly those that are of a glass half empty persuasion at the moment, will remember something. Zivkovic trying his luck as the ball is played in. He's fired it wide of the side netting. They will look back at the 3 games that have been played so far in this competition. United have led in them all. They haven't won any of them. They blew a 2-0 lead at Porto within those 3. And in fact, in 9 games this season in all competitions in which United have scored first, they've only won 4. They've got to hang on to this.
They have, and it's a mentality thing. I think there won't be a complacency. I think, obviously, Ruud van Nistelrooy was there as an assistant, but it's a completely different ball game when you're able to make the decisions. And I think this team under Ruud van Nistelrooy is completely different, the way they operate. I'm not saying it's a foregone conclusion they're going to win this game 2 or 3-0, but it will take a pretty much devastating, probably mistake in the back line or something for Manchester United to lose this game or to concede.
Well, they've conceded 5 goals in this European run so far and 12 in the 10 Premier League matches that they've played up to this point. They lead here 8 minutes into the second half.
Looks like they're just sending out Martinez as well and Marcus Rashford. So potentially they could be coming on at some point soon. I'm not quite sure in these types of games, do you really want to be bringing on Martinez in these types of moments? Potentially, I spoke about, I think it's better to have one of those players on the pitch for stability in the back line. I don't think Lindelof and Johnny Evans, are the answer in a highly competitive game. But I think against PAOK, they've done a decent job. But I think it looks like Martinez is about to come on within the next 5-10 minutes.
He was one of 3 players that was left out of the starting lineup tonight, along with De Ligt and Rashford as well. The ball hoisted by PAOK towards the edge of the United penalty area. And Højlund goes to ground, and he's won a free kick about 20 yards outside the box. The PAOK, for their part, defensively, away from home, have been relatively sound. They average more than 2 goals a game on the road this season in all competitions. 20 in their 10 away matches, which is a tidy return. Just a 1 away defeat for them so far, but they're trailing in this one by a goal to nil. Ahmad from a looping Bruno Fernandes cross. Mazraoui can bring the ball forward. Just works it into the feet of Ahmad, and his ball forward is cut out by Tyson. Tyson running towards the edge of the penalty area. Ugarte just put his hand on his back. Tyson felt the contact, went to ground. Ugarte can have no complaints about the award of a yellow card against him. And it's a free kick in a promising position for PAOK there, about 8 or 9 yards outside the penalty area right of centre.
Yeah, it's a poor giveaway from Ahmad, but I think sometimes our centre midfielders, Manchester United centre midfielders, are so slow in those areas, and I don't think Ugarte needs to make this foul. It's a booking all day long. As soon as you put your arms up against any player, it's going to be a foul, but it's a good position for PAOK here.
A 3rd yellow card of the season since his move from PSG for Manuel Ugarte, player who was sent off in this competition at Arsenal a couple of years ago, you might remember. So, United have lined up a 4-man wall, 5-man wall, just on the edge of the penalty area, towards the right-hand side of the D. Looks as though actually the ball has been spotted down a little bit more centrally than where the infringement took place. Tyson stands over this. Schwab is having a look at it as well, but Tyson will be the favourite. Onana in the middle of his goal. It is going to be Schwab through a crowd. Just scuffed along the ground. Easy save for Onana. The only danger he would have had there was had he been unsighted. And he wanted to bowl the ball out quickly, and Tisadali stopped him doing that, and he's picked up a yellow card, the first shown to a PAOK player for delaying the restart. We're 11 minutes into the second half here on Talksport, and United lead it by a goal to nil.
Yeah, poor effort from Schwab in the end, but I think ultimately he thought the ball was going to jump as they did, but to end up he rolling the ball, trickling the ball into Onana's hands, it was poor in the end.
Onana wanted loads of time with the ball at his feet on the edge of the penalty area, and Kamara denied him most of it, but he was still able to get it away. Then when it's worked forward, United win another free kick nearer halfway. They're currently 15th out of the 36 in the live group table. Spurs, incidentally, after their defeat earlier, down to 7th as things stand right now. Bruno Fernandes bringing the ball forward here for Manchester United, popping it off to his left-hand side. Ugarte letting it run. Dalot picking it up and then clipping it down towards Ahmad. Peels away at the back post again. Drives the ball in towards the penalty spot from the dead ball line. And it's cleared by Özdoğan and out for a throw that United will take quickly on their right with Bruno Fernandes, and then he immediately wins another throw from Tyson.
Yeah, that was a really good ball out to the right-hand side from the left from Dalot, because they created this overload down the right. I think Mazraoui and Ahmad have done a really good job.
Here's Bruno Fernandes hooking the ball back inside the penalty area. Looks as though it might have gone out. Johnny playing it back, but not to good effect. Laid off by Garnacho for Dalot, and he sliced across it, and it was much nearer going out of play for a throw than going in for goal number 2. 12 gone second half. Manchester United 1, PAOK 0.
And those are those decisions, you know. I know they say if you don't shoot, you don't score, but I think it was quite erratic from Dalot to pick up the ball on the left-hand side. As a footballer, I feel like, you know, with the technique you use, you should know in that situation that ball's going sailing over. But well done to Garnacho, because he isn't trying to take players on every single time. He's making better decisions in those areas.
Evans muscled out of it. Tisadali has fouled him. And it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by Manchester United. Hearts trail at home to Heidenheim with a goal just before the hour mark. Hearts 0, Heidenheim 1. There's still Lan 1-1 with St. Gallen. United work it forward here. Fernandes for Ahmad, and the same combination nearly provided a second. He let the ball roll across his body, fired it in right-footed, and the covering from Babarakman good enough to be able to smuggle the ball behind. He threw himself bravely into the line of fire. It hit his body and goes out for another corner.
I'll tell you what, Victor Lindelof does an amazing job here at driving out with the ball, breaking the lines and playing the ball through to Bruno Fernandes. Ahmad, it's a great first-time ball from Bruno Fernandes. Ahmad catches it quite well, takes a good first touch. I think it's a decent save in the end. It was always a decent height for the keeper, but he goes across goal, and I think you've got to put that down to a good save.
Bruno Fernandes taking the corner. Headed towards goal by Casemiro. Lindelof trying to get on the end of that. Dalot helps it forward. Comes back out for Bruno again. Bruno left-footed, clipped in. Little flick header from Lindelof. Keeps it alive, but it's volleyed away by Özdoev on the edge of the penalty area. They almost got it through for Tyson, who, had he had a run then, might have been able to take on Mazraoui in what effectively would have been a one-on-one from a long way back. Then United work it forward. Fernandes trying to get it in towards Højlund. That one is cleared. Mazraoui helping it back forward down the left-hand side. Garnacho turning onto his left foot. Still he goes. Tumbles to the ground. Referee, was given a corner. He put his whistle to his mouth. I thought he was going to point to the penalty spot there. United fans did as well. They certainly think he should have done, but he's given a corner.
I mean, I can't see how that's not a penalty. I don't think he's got any of the ball at all. We'll have to see it again, Jim, but I think that's a penalty.
Well, I think Johnny is the defender involved. Garnacho's got the ball at his feet. He's gone to ground. The corner has now been taken and is fired inside the 6-yard box and cleared, and Tyson can bring it away. There weren't too many vociferous complaints, actually, from the United players, but I certainly was expecting the VAR at the very least to have a longer look at it than they appear to.
It was quite strange, really, because it looked like there was no contact with the ball, but it also looked like there was no contact with Garnacho, so it was a weird one.
Casemiro getting it for Bruno Fernandes on the edge of the D, turns it onto his right foot, then onto his left, and he fires the shot over the bar. We played an hour. Manchester United 1, PAOK 0. Hasn't been a goal for Chelsea for 20 minutes, Ian Abrahams. Well, you're going to have to take my word for it, but there hasn't been a goal for Chelsea for the last 20 minutes. We'll be off to the Moose very shortly. Chelsea leading Noah by 6-0. You're listening to Manchester United against PAOK in the Europa League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent a Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Back to the bridge, Ian Abraham.
Yeah, Chelsea 6, Noah 0. Not for one to try, no. Twice João Felix, and then just a minute ago, Nkunku 6 yards out, blazed over. Chelsea 6, Noah 0.
So 6-0 Chelsea leading that one. Hearts trailing. Lan 1-1 with St. Gallen. West Brom against Burnley still goalless in the Championship, and that continues for you live right now over on Talksport 2. If you've got the Talksport app, it's easy just to swipe left and swipe right and keep abreast of everything that's going on in both games. But 0-0 in that one, and we'll catch up with Abigail Davis in a few moments' time to find out what's been going on in the opening 20 minutes or so of the second half. Kamara's got the ball here for PAOK in their black and white striped shirts. And the ball is played forward from him to Özdoev. There's a little bit of action on the PAOK bench. And they're going to be bringing on the striker Chalov very shortly. Fedor Chalov, the Russian, who played a couple of games against United in the Champions League some 7 years ago, lost them both, but he's going to be on in a moment. The ball with Kamara, almost able to squeeze it down the left-hand touchline for Tyson. Couldn't get it past Mazraoui, and it goes out of play. And United are going to be making a triple change. So a double change for PAOK, because we're going to be seeing Bakayoko, who was in the Chelsea side that beat Manchester United in an FA Cup final a few years back. He'll be coming on with Chaloff, and United are going to be bringing on Martinez, Eriksen and Rashford with 18 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, I expected, Marcus Rashford to come into this game. I think it'll be interesting because I think Rasmus Højlund, again, I think he's been really poor, hasn't really touched the ball at all. And I think sometimes, being a Manchester United centre forward, it's difficult because they can say, there hasn't been much service. But I think if you're a good number 9, you get yourself into games. Look at Gyökeres. He's banging in goals now for fun against Man City, occupying the centre-backs, causing problems. I think for the PAOK centre-backs, they've had a field day against Rasmus Højlund because all he's doing is shadow playing up top. He's defending, he's trying to get himself back on side, but he just doesn't really offer that much. So I think, it shows you the intention of Ruud van Nistelrooy making this triple substitution.
Now, it'll be interesting to see exactly who does come off. I think the triple change is going to be made at the next break in play. But PAOK pushing forward now with Tyson. Tyson rolling inside the area, big chance! And Onana dives to his left-hand side to deny Tissoudali. It should be 1-1. Played forward inside the penalty area. And he was only about 8 or 9 yards out, and he had time to take the ball and then hit it on the turn. And he couldn't divert it with power either side of the goalkeeper. It's a real let-off for United.
I'll tell you what, Tissoudali's not going to get a better opportunity than that. He could have even closed his eyes. He had that much time, and that is such a poor finish from Tissoudali. Really, really poor. Manchester United got away with one there for sure.
So, Garnacho off. Ugarte is off. And who's going to be the third player replaced by Manchester United here? It is going to be Dalot. So Dalot, Ugarte and Garnacho off. And that means that there's a stay of execution as far as Højlund is concerned. You say that Tissoudali's not going to get a better chance. He's not going to get another kick because he's been hoiked off. And Chaloff comes on just moments after Tissoudali missed a glorious opportunity. Schwab is replaced by Bakayoko. So that's 2 straight swaps as far as PAOK are concerned. And United just shuffling things around now. Rashford's gone out to the left. Ahmad on the right still. Højlund with Bruno Fernandes in behind him. Eriksen alongside Casemiro. And Lindelof has now got Lisandro Martinez with him. The ball played down towards Ahmad. Ahmad towards the edge of the penalty area. Ahmad inside the box gets it onto his right foot. Clipped into the penalty spot. Bruno Fernandes couldn't control it and it's cleared. Just for clarification, Lindelof still alongside Evans. Lisandro playing at left back. So he has come on, Mazraoui playing at right back. So it's just a straight swap. Effectively, Martinez coming on to replace Diogo Dalot.
I'm quite surprised in that. I expected one of the centre-backs to come out. I expected, potentially Casemiro to come out as well, but Ugarte's been the player that's gone out. But I think, it's a sign of intention, a little bit of pace injected into this team. I mean, Christian Eriksen, along with Johnny Evans, I just think fair play to Christian Eriksen because he's a top footballer. But I think if Manchester United want to progress, you can't progress with players like that. The pace, slowing the games down. I mean, what other midfield would Christian Eriksen get in the top half of the table? I'm not quite sure many. And I like Christian Eriksen, but I just think if Manchester United want to go places, having Johnny Evans still there in the back line, I just think it shows you where Manchester United are at right now.
PAOK bring the ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Casemiro dallied for a moment, but got it away, and Rashford spears it over the top. Ahmad chasing after it, really well read at the back by Colley. And he can fire it forward, and Chaloff just try to con Victor Lindelof there, moved away from the ball. Lindelof thought he had a free header, but Chaloff spun in behind him. Now the loose ball breaks out Tyson's way on the right-hand side of the penalty area, and United have got more defending to do. Not too far short of the midway stage of the second half here at Old Trafford on Talksport. Manchester United 1, PAOK 0. Now PAOK will be able to bring the ball forward again with Colley. Colley working it into the feet of Bakayoko and getting it straight back again. And now play back towards Kinjora. Johnny will take over. Diminutive fullback, so familiar after nearly 150 games in the old gold and black at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Colley again. Still those PAOK supporters away to our right-hand side making a phenomenal noise. Enjoying their moment, the first ever match between these two clubs. They've got it on halfway, Johnny, for PAOK. Working the ball through the centre circle. A couple of bounces inside the PAOK half of the centre circle as it runs through towards Colley. Taken on at the left-hand side by Ruckman. Back for Colley again. And then Colley will turn it back to his goalkeeper in the final quarter of the game. Still Manchester United leading, courtesy of that goal from Ahmad some 17 minutes ago. And United hoping that they can hold on to a lead in Europe for the first time this season. Not too many signs, apart from that one great chance for Tissadali, that they won't be able to. And good defending from Lindelof stops them making any progress. This time Chaloff wins a throw.
Yeah, I think Manchester United will be just looking to inject a little bit of speed of play. You know, I think in the first half, Manchester United started really well and then it got a bit flat as the half went on. I think I'm seeing those things happen right now. I think this is when Manchester United need to be a bit more ruthless against this PAOK team. And they're lucky that PAOK didn't equalise. It was not going to get more of a gift than that in front of goals. So I think this is where Manchester United need to be ruthless. They need to go for 2, they need to go for 3. And I think that's been something that's been lacking in Manchester United in recent years. You know, seeing a team on the back foot and really capitalising on that.
And Kamara playing it forward. It's a free kick won by Rachman. So Kamara's going to come across to take it. In fact, the referee's given a throw. Or has he? Now he's just stopped the throw being taken. And it looks as though it's going to be taken from pretty much an identical spot. All a little bit strange. The throw taken is actually a better throw the second time of asking because it was down towards the dead ball line. Chaloff's done well, turns it round the corner. Rachman with the cross. And that was well blocked by Casemiro. United are going to be able to bring it away with Ahmad looking for Fernandez. He couldn't find him. And he goes out of play for a throw. Let's go to the Hawthorns. West Bromwich Albion against Burnley. Here's Talksport's Abigail Davis.
Yeah, still goalless here, 20 minutes to go, but the visitors have had the ball in the back of the net. Jadon Anthony there to meet a lovely delivery into the area, heads home from the back post, but the referee blew for a foul in the build-up. I think it was pretty harsh. I think the goal should have stood, but it does remain West Brom 0, Burnley 0.
Abigail, thank you very much indeed. There's more Championship action tomorrow on the Talksport network. Watford against Oxford on Talksport 2 tomorrow at Vicarage Road. Then Saturday lunchtime, Middlesbrough Luton. Luton out of the bottom 4 after their win last night. And that is a 12:30 kickoff on Talksport 2. Plenty of Premier League action coming your way over the course of the weekend as well, and I'll give you the details in a moment. With Bruno Fernandes in possession for Manchester United, he's given it away. Ozdoev picking it up. Chaloff has added a fresh dimension to the forward line for PAOK. Tyson playing it in towards the edge of the penalty area. Chaloff's got it now. Zivkovic with a little layoff. Bakayoko can get it out towards the right. Johnny bringing it forward. Tyson trying to check and play it back in. And he's won a corner, which is the second that PAOK have had in this second half. 20 to go.
I think I'm seeing signs, Jim, here, like you spoke about before, why Manchester United seem to concede in this competition, because I've no idea why, since they've gone to go ahead, they're sitting on the back foot, they're sitting deep, and PAOK are causing them a lot of problems, which they didn't do in the first half. So I've no idea why they're sitting so deep behind the ball.
Set piece for Manchester United to defend here. Ozdoev waits on the edge of the D. Everybody else, bar the goalkeeper, is forward inside a congested penalty area. Bruno Fernandes was first to it, flicks it away. United hack it clear towards halfway, give Ahmad something to chase, and he's done well. He judged the bounce really well there. Johnny, though, comes and mops up to stop Ahmad just flicking it on for Højlund, who would have been in. And PAOK are going to be able to bring it away with Johnny. Another goal at Stamford Bridge. What kept you, Chelsea?
Chelsea 7, Noah 0. Finally, Christopher Nkunku has one. Played in on the goalkeeper, actually saved the first attempt, and then from a tight angle, Nkunku volleyed in the rebound. Chelsea 7, Noah 0. Might be game over.
Oh, yeah, might just the 9th goal of the season for Nkunku. And as Moose was saying at half-time, it's the first time that Chelsea have notched up 7 in a European tie in the 21st century. Tyson for PAOK, who trail 1-0, but they're having more of the ball and they're having it in good areas at the moment with 18 minutes to go. Tyson laying it back again for Ozdoev. Tyson again coming in off the left flank in his bright orange boots. He dispenses with the ball and then he has his arms out. He's not happy at the lack of movement from those in a central position. And his manager just mimicked the gesture that he made. He was asking exactly the same questions of the forward line. Then the move breaks down with a ball that is chipped out towards the left-hand side, and it goes out for a United throw. They won't be in any great hurry to take this. Saturday, Game Day Live with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney and Dean Ashton. Adrian and Troy at Wolves, Dean Ashton at Palace, all the goals as they go in. And that's on Talksport from 1, 3 o'clock, West Ham, Everton, exclusive to National Radio at 3 o'clock on Talksport 2. And then Game Day exclusive is at the time at 8 o'clock this weekend. Saturday night, Liverpool against Villa, with Stuart Pearce alongside Sam Matterface at Anfield. 8 o'clock Sunday night, a big game between Liverpool and Villa, who are hoping for a better end to the week than the rest of it. The ball is over on the PAOK left, United clear. Ahmad was just being pulled back, but he was able to find Højlund. Højlund drove forward, but there was no conviction about it, and whether he didn't get a cry of man on or was oblivious to the fact that Ozdorf was coming in, but he was soon dispossessed. United try and win it back. PAOK have it over on the far touchline, but work it back to Kenjura.
I mean, Ruud van Nistelrooy know all too well playing forwards through moments where they're not scoring goals, but I think Rasmus Højlund hasn't done anything within this game tonight. I think the substitutions, no doubt, will sometimes, rock the chemistry a little bit, but I think what I'm seeing for Manchester United right now, I have no idea why they're inviting pressure on, sitting so deep. It looks like they think they're in cruise control. Mazraoui's like taking an eternity to take the throw. It's like there's still 17 minutes to go plus stoppage time, and I'm not saying PAOK are going to necessarily cause a lot of problems, but we saw they've had the best chance of this game where they should have put it in the back of the net. So I don't think there's any type of complacency at Manchester United just because you won a couple of games under Ruud van Nistelrooy. You still have to show that you have the quality and to see games out and be ruthless. Manchester United should be beating this PAOK team pretty comfortably, and right now it's not very comfortable.
Well, the Bulgarian international winger Kirill Despodov is going to be coming on for PAOK in a moment, as Johnny Evans clears over on the far touchline, the United left. They're kicking from left to right, defending the Stretford end in this second half, having been turned around before the game started. Rashford, who we've hardly talked about since he came on 15 minutes ago, he's gone down over on the far touchline, wins a free kick. The change will be made. Kamara's going to come off, and Despodov will come on to replace him, and that may well see Tyson move into the number 10 role for PAOK. Well, Tyson and co haven't got United on the ropes at the moment, but they are having the better chances. 15 left, 1-0. There's no formality. You can certainly make a case for PAOK getting back into this.
Yeah, I think Kamara had a decent game, to be fair. I think he had one of the opportunities he created himself on the half volley. He's put a shift in for his team. I think his PAOK team have done themselves a lot of justice within this game. They've defended really well. They've never really looked phased in the back line. I think Johnny's been excellent for PAOK as well. There's opportunities where he's come away with the ball, looks really comfortable on the ball, travelling out with it. Nothing really seems to phase them. And Manchester United just haven't really caused many problems, really. I think apart from Ahmad and Garnacho at times, the second half has been quite quiet from Bruno Fernandes. I'd say quite quiet the whole game from Rasmus Højlund.
Zivkovic has certainly been useful. PAOK win another free kick. Taken back for Kenjura. Polish international to Colley. Down to Baba Rahman, played for by him. Zivkovic giving in the return ball. Cut out though by Mazraoui. Eriksson, who scored 2 goals in his 3 European ties so far this season, plays the ball for Casemiro, is then caught. And it's another free kick which will be taken by Manchester United inside their own half. They'll be in no great hurry to take it. Chelsea 7, Noah 0. 6 up by the break. Hearts 0, Heidenheim 1. Larne 1, St Gallen 1. And live over on Talksport 2 in the Championship, West Brom 0, Burnley 0. Not the most surprising scoreline of the night, that. But bearing in mind that the Albion have scored 2 goals in their last 6 games, and Burnley have only got 4 in the last 7. In fact, they've only scored as many goals since week 2 as they did in the first 2 weeks of the season, as Ahmad takes it over the edge of the area and curls a left-footed shot from distance into the bottom left-hand corner to surely make things safe. He has been the standout player and has been rewarded with 2 goals. Manchester United 2, PAOK 0. And after 380 days, United are going to be winning in Europe again.
Well played, Ahmad. Fantastic play, really put the pressure above Rahman there, couldn't come away with the ball. And I was waiting for Amad Diallo to just bend it in that left-hand corner, and it's exactly what he did. It's a fantastic finish, and he deserves that. He's been Manchester United's best player. We touched upon it pre-game with Hugh about what type of night he was going to have. Was the pressure on? I think he's delivered. It was a really, really good play from him. He created this all himself. And I was thinking, go yourself. I mentioned about him being more selfish in front of goal. I think if this was in the first half, he passes that to the left-hand side to Marcus Rashford. But that is such a good strike from Amad Diallo. Goalkeeper's got no chance. Left-hand corner, bends it. Fantastic strike.
4 goals in 35 games for Manchester United before tonight. 2 in 26 minutes in this second half. Manchester United 2, PAOK 0. Mason Mount is going to be coming on in a moment, and there's another goal that is old stomping ground, Ian Abraham.
Chelsea 8, Noah 0. The goals coming 2 by 2 against Noah. Jan Teki is judged to have fouled inside the penalty area. Dewsbury Hall didn't really look that much of a foul to me. Referee went to the TV, looked at the replay, gave the penalty, and Cuckoo thrashed it home. We've still got quarter of an hour to go. If Chelsea can get the record, they'll need another 5. Chelsea 8, Noah 0.
You're listening to Manchester United against PAOK in the Europa League, live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. 8-0 Chelsea, 2-0 Manchester United. And United will have 6 points in their first 4 games. We reckon that, as much as you can tell, 16 or 17 is probably what you're going to need to finish in the top 8, and that will see you avoid the playoff round after Christmas, which is what all the teams need to do. So that's the premium for finishing in the top 8, and United will give themselves a half-decent opportunity to hold on here. Bodo Glimt next, then Victoria Pilsen away, Rangers at home, Steaua Bucharest away. That's how it finishes. United with Lindelof working it back again to his goalkeeper. Mount waiting for the opportunity to come on. He's not really seen the light of day recently. And since clashing heads with Radu Dragusin, he's not played at all. And he'll be coming on for a rare appearance in this competition. There's only previous Europa League action with Vitesse Arnhem back in the day. Those PAOK supporters might be 2-0 down their side, but they're really making the atmosphere here. Jumping up and down, waving scarves around their head. It's all very well choreographed. And they really have made for a magnificent spectacle. 10 to go. A problem, though, for Ahmad, who's gone down hurt. And hopefully from a United viewpoint, this is purely precautionary. But it looks as though Mount will come on to replace him. But Ahmad's still down receiving treatment near the halfway line.
I have no idea why Andre Onana's come flying out the goal to go, and I love the fact it's quite admirable that he's checking to see if he's okay. But Onana shouldn't really be in that situation. As soon as the ref blows a whistle, he could take it. But yeah, hopefully Ahmad will be okay. Looks like Mason Mount is coming on. He was getting ready to come on anyway.
I think Shola Shoretire is going to be coming on for PAOK, and it'll be a very special occasion for him if he does. He made his European debut for Manchester United when he's just 3 weeks past his 17th birthday. And at that stage, you think that he's got the potential maybe to become a United great. Didn't work out that way for him. Still only 20 now, but he's got the opportunity to come back and show United fans what they're missing. Ahmad comes off, and he comes off to a standing ovation. He's been excellent tonight, far and away the standout player in red, and he makes his way off the field and is replaced by Mason Mount.
Yeah, Ahmad's been excellent. Every time he's had the ball, he's looked dangerous. He's exactly what you want from your wide players, and I said it pre-game, Jim, that's exactly what Manchester United need. They've had wingers that have been so inconsistent. The signings that Erik ten Hag made, Anthony offers nothing. And the wide players, Jadon Sancho, when he was there, offered nothing. And whoever plays in there seems to just not be able to have that confidence. If you're not going to have the 1v1 confidence to beat a player, then you better have a good cross on you. And they haven't had that Manchester United. They've had players, wingers, that just don't know how to get the best out of themselves. And I think Ahmad now hopefully can push on for Manchester United, get the run of games that I think he deserves. Because there's been times when he's been benched and I think, why is he being put on the bench? But sometimes there's certain players within the team that have to do that little bit extra in order to keep their spot.
Yeah, he's come off the bench in nearly twice as many games as he started in his Manchester United career. But certainly doing wonders for his long-term prospects tonight. Here's Onana, just outside his own penalty area. Shoretiri is going to be coming on very shortly. I'm sure there would have been times in his career he dreamt of wearing the black and white stripes here at Old Trafford, a Geordie by birth. Here's Mason Mount bringing the ball forward. Mazraoui outside him. It just feeds him. Ball across the edge of the penalty area. He's looking for Bruno Fernandes. Couldn't quite get to him. Eriksson mops up. And via a touch from Lisandro Martinez, the ball is worked out towards the left, fired in towards Højlund. Goalkeeper might have come out to claim it. Katarski electing Superman style to punch the ball away. He was only about a foot off the ground when he got it clear, but in getting it forward, they got it towards Chalov. Zivkovic was in so much space on the PAOK left, but they couldn't work it in his direction. And then eventually Lisandro Martinez wins a free kick. And the danger is averted. Now a change, and Shoretiri will come on to replace Tyson. And he's going to get a big ovation from the United fans, which is great to see.
Yeah, it's great. You can see the Manchester United fans are on their feet. They never forget their own. You're right, Jim. Shoretiri had a massive prospect, coming through the system at the academy, similar to Angel Gomez. But sometimes you have to move away. Sometimes you don't want to. And it can almost better your career in the long run. So hopefully, I'm sure he'd have liked to have had a few more minutes than this coming on into this game in almost the 84th minute. But it'd be a massive moment for him and his parents, a team he's grown up playing for, to come on at Old Trafford. I just think he'd have hoped for a little bit more time.
Oh yeah, 5 substitute appearances he made in his Manchester United career. He had a longer spell than that on loan at Bolton. And he's on now, a player that has almost exclusively been used as a substitute in his time in Greece, where he moved in the summer. We've got 6 minutes to go. Manchester United leading PAOK by 2-0 here on Talksport, and it's 0-0 still between West Brom and Burnley over on Talksport 2. Casemiro plays the ball back towards the edge of the centre circle. Johnny Evans has got it. United fans, what have you made of this performance tonight? Better in the second half than the first. What's the take-home from what you've seen tonight? What will Ruben Amorim, who will have been watching this game, what will he have learned? Your views more than welcome, of course, on the Sports Bar following us. Jamie O'Hara along with PAOK in Fenwa tonight on the Sports Bar here on TalkSport. 03717 223344, the number that gets you through. And Spurs fans, Jamie, I'd love to hear from you as well after your defeat early today away to Galatasaray with a changed team. The yellow card has been shown for a poor challenge in the midfield. Casemiro, the recipient of it. Now the free kick has been taken by Colley. So works it back for Kenjora. And the Polish international goes out to the PAOK right-hand side. Bakayoko's got it. Bakayoko out to Shoretiri, who started on the PAOK right. Ball is laid back inside the penalty area for their goalkeeper. Now Katarski plays it forward out towards Colley again. 4 to go. Manchester United, safe you would think, 2-0 up. We have seen late drama in European ties here in the past that hasn't gone United's way, but it's hard to see this lead completely evaporating. One out of play for a throw that Johnny takes. He'll work it back towards halfway for Ken Jordan. It feels as though just playing out time since that second goal, really. Yeah, definitely. I think, like, Casemiro, for me, I like him, but I think he picks up too many stupid yellow cards. In that situation there, he's gone through the tackle. It's actually hit his hand in the end. I mean, Manchester United 2-0 up. Do you really need to be making those types of tackles? I don't think so. And then, obviously, last year, I think he missed around 8 games due to suspension. You just don't need to be doing that. And I think a player of his stature, so experienced, I just don't think you need to be doing that type of thing in a game like this. Picking up unnecessary bookings. Because in the long run, he ends up with so many suspensions based upon these stupid bookings. Look at last year. It's easy for people to say, Casemiro now, he's older, he's not a mainstay in his team. Last year, when he picked up that booking at Selhurst Park, he missed the game at the Emirates and everybody was nearly crying when he couldn't be in the midfield, including myself. Shoretiri playing it forward. It's gone straight through for Onana. 3 to go. Casemiro actually just short of 100 games for United now. That's a milestone that he'll reach, you would imagine, just after the international break, potentially the game after the international break. Onana inside his own 6-yard box, getting it away from Chaloff, the lively substitute at the top of the line. I think Højlund was offside. He's been played in, though. Flag stayed down for now. He's inside the penalty area, draws the goalkeeper and puts it wide. Now, though, the flag does come up. And it looked immediately, your eyes told you it was offside. It was a good 2 yards offside.
Yeah, it was offside all day long. I think the problem is you could be a number 9 that doesn't really have many touches on the ball, but I think when you go that long without touching the ball, where's the confidence going to be? I mean, it was a poor run in the end, and I don't want to hammer Rasmus Højlund because I think there is a player in there, but I just don't think he should be leading the line for Manchester United. I still think Manchester United need to go in the shop window, as crazy as that sounds. You know, you've got players like Mason Mount who started the season in the number 9. Xerxes, I don't think is there. Rasmus Højlund, I don't think is a player that can lead Manchester United in those areas. Maybe Ruben might be bringing one of his players over with him. Gyökeres, you never know. There's rumours and links to that. But a player that can kind of put the ball in the back of the net and always be busy, or come up with a late goal in the 93rd minute when you've been quiet all game and be the hero, but he offers nothing.
Well, Fernandes finds Mason Mount. Mount bringing it forward, and he almost able to side-foot it in towards Rashford's path inside the penalty area. And then Fernandes looks for Rashford. Rashford knew he was offside, or sensed he was, and made no attempt to try and get on the end of the through ball. And it just rolls innocuously through for the Croatian international Dominik Katarski in the PAOK goal. 2-0 Manchester United lead. It's a result that will take them up into mid-table in this Europa League phase at the halfway stage. They'll be 15th as things stand with a goal difference of 2, 6 points from 4 games. Xerxes delighted, I'm sure, to be getting the 90th minute and very little more. He's going to be coming on in a moment, and maybe for Højlund, who attacks this and just caught Colley. And it's going to be a free kick which will be taken by PAOK on the edge of their box. Højlund's protesting his innocence. The referee's having none of it, and I think Højlund's going to see his number come up in a moment. Xerxes gets an encouraging arm round the shoulder from Ruud van Nistelrooy, and Xerxes will replace Højlund for the closing moments.
Yeah, and fair play to Ruud van Nistelrooy, because as a former centre forward himself, he'll know what it feels like. You know, leave him out there to try and get his confidence, try and get Rasmus Højlund the goal, but he hasn't been quite fortunate tonight. I think, you know, you look at these players and you said, what will Ruben Amorim be learning from this game? I mean, Marcus Rashford has come into this game and he's done absolutely nothing, and he's offered nothing. And I think you look at Marcus Rashford, he just looks like he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders every time he puts on a Man United shirt, and all the fans want him to succeed. They continue to back him no matter what. You know, there's been a few altercations last year when he was having an argument with the fans and those types of things, but I think Marcus Rashford, like, just Ruben Amorim, I think it'll be interesting to see if he can get the best out of him, because I think Rashford's had a lot of coaches come through since he's come into the team, and he just never, he seems to push on, then go backwards, and now it just seems like he's offering nothing to Manchester United.
Højlund left the field with disappointment etched across his face as we go into 4 minutes of added time. He's got 2 in 11 this season. Xerxes come on to replace him, 14 without a goal since scoring on the opening weekend. Marcus Rashford, 2 in 22 against top flight opposition. Here's Bruno Fernandes coming forward now, trying to thread it in for Rashford, and it should have been 3 in 23. Just coming onto it, left-hand side of the 6-yard box, rolled it past the keeper, who looked nervously over his left shoulder, but it went just across the face of goal and wide.
See, that's when I think Rashford has to put the ball in the back of the net. It's really good play from Xerxes to get the ball out to Bruno Fernandes. And I just think in those moments, you know, even though I'd expect Marcus Rashford to put that in the back of the net, that's his bread and butter. When he's getting in front of goal, this is something that you'd expect Marcus Rashford to convert this pretty easily. It's not an easy chance, but he gets it all wrong. He almost looks like he hits it at the top of his toe in the end. It was a weird one, really. No composure.
Rashford unable to take the chance. I'm sure that'll just be an academic footnote to the game, really, which has been played out in front of a crowd of shade over 73,000 here at Old Trafford tonight, but there are a fair few empty seats around in the Manchester United supporters now. So head for the hills, knowing that the destiny of the points is safe. Martinez plays it back for Johnny Evans, who'll turn it inside his own penalty area, back for Onana, whose 5th clean sheet of the season is incoming, seemingly. It's just going to be a 3rd win in 11 for Manchester United in all competitions. And worth harking back, remember, 380 days since United last won in Europe which was at home to Copenhagen. They only won that because Onana saved a penalty from Henrik Larsson's son right at the end of the game. It's only the second win that they will have had in 602 days of European football, and since they won at Betis in the round of 16 in the Europa League back in the 22-23 season. Lindelof locks the ball away, goes out for a throw that Shoretiri is going to come across to take. We've played 2 of the 4 additional minutes, and the throw will be taken by Baba Rahman forward towards Shoretiri, getting the return ball, and then just on the lunge, see caught Casemiro there. He has. It's going to be a free kick. United's man is okay. He's back on his feet very quickly. Shoretiri, I'm not sure whether he's offering a hand of apology or whether he was complaining that Casemiro threw himself to the ground there. A few words certainly between the pair of them in the end, but they appear to have made up. Shoretiri will make his way back towards the halfway line. And one last opportunity for United to get the ball forward. Remember, more live football on Talksport 2 for you tomorrow night. We're in the Championship at Vicarage Road. Watford's home form's been great. Oxford's away form less so. The 2 of them meeting in Hertfordshire tomorrow night. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff on Talksport 2. Now the big one Saturday, Liverpool Villa, an 8 o'clock kickoff here on Talksport. Zirkzee foul. Sports Bar follows us with Jamie O'Hara and PAOK in Fenway. We're taking your calls on 03717223344. United fans, they want to hear from you. You can book your call now. Bakayoko spirals the ball out towards the far touchline. It's easily knocked away. And then brought back down under control at the back by PAOK with Colley. We'll take it through the centre circle into Shoretiri again. Played forward by him down towards Zivkovic, coming in off the left flank, just trying to flick the ball around Mazraoui, and that's the end of the game. Manchester United finally win in Europe and prevent the longest barren streak in continental football in their history. It took until 6 minutes into the second half to find the breakthrough. Ahmad with a looping header made it 1. A much better finish made it 2, 15 minutes from time. United not at their convincing best by any stretch of the imagination. But tonight was a night really, it was all about the result. They've got the win that gets them off and running really in this Europa League campaign. 6 points from 4 games at the halfway stage. Not great, but a foundation still potentially for a top 8 finish. Tonight, United have beaten PAOK by 2-0.
Well, is the mojo returning for Manchester United? Just ever so gently. Unbeaten in 3 since the departure of Erik ten Hag. Maybe Ruud's revolution has a better ring to it than Ruben's Red Army. Either way, Old Trafford is one happy place right now. The fans going home with a smile on their face with a first European win at the Theatre of Dreams for 380 days. Leanne Sanderson, it was about the intensity we spoke about at halftime. They came out with a bit between their teeth. Only took 5 minutes for Amad Diallo to put them in front. And then he once again provided the real moment of quality with his second on 77 minutes. A real quality night for him.
Yeah, he was excellent. We spoke about it pre-game, didn't we, Hugh, about the performance from Amad, how important it was going to be. And I think ticked all the boxes. Going 1v1, looked confident, tried things. Sometimes it didn't come off. Some of his decision making could be even better. But I like what I'm seeing from Amad, and I hope he can get a good run of games now. So I think, you know, he's the wide player that I think Manchester United have missed for so many years. Remember wide players, they used to get the ball, go 1v1, beat players. Now it's like most wide players at Manchester United have had to will get the ball and play it back inside. So I think, you know, no one's getting carried away, but I like what Ruud van Nistelrooy has done and is doing, because I think if that is under Erik ten Hag, that result doesn't really happen. It wasn't like the most complete performance, and like I said, no one's getting carried away. But Manchester United will take that, take the victory. It's crazy to think that a club like Manchester United has not won in Europe in over a year, Hugh. It's unfathomable. But I think they'll take that. You know, confidence is everything. Leicester City at home on Sunday. Be a difficult game, but I think under Ruud van Nistelrooy and everything that he's doing and what he's standing for, I like what I'm seeing.
Amad Diallo walking around the pitch here at Old Trafford. No socks, no boots on either, which suggests maybe he was feeling something. He went down just before he went off, and he was clearly uncomfortable now. let's hope it's not another stop-start moment for him in a Manchester United shirt, and he is out there at the weekend, so hopefully he can build on this. It will be, I think, a celebration, a bit of a party for Manchester United on Sunday against Leicester City. Ruud van Nistelrooy, they may well be saying goodbye to these fans, but also I think many will celebrate the incoming manager being the next stop after the international break, and a sense, if they win that match, that things are feeling much, much better.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I think I've not had a feeling like this about a new manager coming in a long, long time. There's a certain feeling, you know, when Louis van Gaal came in, I didn't have it. When Jose Mourinho came in, I didn't have it. Erik ten Hag, I didn't have it. With Ruben Amorim, regardless of the result the other night in the Champions League, like, I don't know, it's something different. There's a feeling about him. He's got that kind of, when he's in his press conference, you know, when he's talking, I think he's likeable. But you can also see he doesn't take any prisoners. So I think Manchester United fans can be excited. But like I said, there's still a lot of work to do. Ineos are making moves off the pitch. I kind of like what I'm seeing. No, director of football, those type of things in place. And I think the next transfer window will be massive, because a lot of these players at Manchester United are playing for their futures, because they've had long enough. You know, even in tonight's game, Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford, like, have they really done enough to prove Ruben Amorim that he should be playing for Manchester United?
I was going to say, you just said these players are playing for their futures. I mean, on tonight's performances, it really didn't feel like that for most of them, did it? It was very much in second gear, third gear for most of that game. The only couple of moments came from Amad Diallo. There was a bit of intensity at the start of the second half. It was nothing really to write home about, though, especially for those who you're rightly saying are playing for their futures.
Yeah, and I think, you know, sometimes it's not all about 100 mile an hour, it's about the quality as well. I think players like Victor Lindelof, what I will say about him, is he good enough to be at Manchester United? Probably not, but he gives 150%, and that's all you can ask for. But there are better players that I believe are out there that will come to Manchester United now based upon the structure upstairs. Ruben Amorim's coming in here. He has a clear style of what he likes to play. And like I said, he has to find those players that fit into that. I don't think a lot of these Manchester United players will have this team. I think will be completely different. It'll take a little while, but I think it'll be completely different. Look at when Arsenal had players like Mustafi still there. Look at what Edu and Arteta had to do. It takes a little while to get rid of those types of players in the back line. You know, even Koscielny was their captain. They had to do something at Arsenal. Yeah. That it was difficult. He was their captain and they got rid of him.
But still, I think a lot of people haven't given up on this season, and they're not going to have an overhaul in the squad.
Man United?
Yeah. They're in the Europa League. That's their first win.
But
this is the tournament that could possibly though get them into the Champions League. If they can find some form, this should be a winnable competition for Manchester United. But obviously, we haven't seen that kind of form for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's a long way to go, Hugh. I think that Manchester United have turned the corner, but I still think, you know, it's not going to be easy for Manchester United to win this competition. I think we assume because the English teams are in it, they're going to win. It's a massive competition. Do you remember Man United got beat by Villarreal? Unai Emery, everyone thought Man United were going to walk in. Unai Emery is a tactical genius, so it's not a foregone conclusion that Man United will win this competition.
And at the moment, there are 14 teams above them in this competition. Just got
to get to the knockout stages, mate. Well, I'm targeting 24th at this stage. As long as they make it through, they got a chance.
I'm taking Hugh's optimism. I've never seen you this optimistic in about 5 years, so I'm taking it.
Okay, all right. Listen, thank you very much, Jim Proudfoot and Leanne Sanderson there. Real positive evening for these Manchester United fans